Well, again, this is Ed Cawthorn, and this is video number 3 on how I do something. I couldn't think of a better name. I'm sorry. You know, these are totally unrehearsed, and the reason they're unrehearsed is I think it's okay for you to see me as you might see me in a regular classroom, and I'll make mistakes like this in a regular classroom. I don't think it's fair of you to see me having practiced something. When I was in college, I had a calculus instructor who was well practiced in calculus, or at least the methods or the processes she was trying to teach. And I asked her one day something that had something to do with the topic we were on, and she said, she looked at the problem and she said, well, I can't answer that. I haven't practiced it yet. And I realized that 90% of that was practice. And what she was doing was showing us what she knew, and that was fine. It served the purpose. It got me through the class. But it taught me that she could not innovate as she walked along. And that bothered me a little bit. So I'd rather have you see me as I am, or listen to me as I am through these recordings that I just throw together or toss together. Not throw, they've got some planning to them, that I toss together, than I would have you see me not make a mistake. Because it's a part of programming, a large part of programming is learning that you're going to make huge mistakes. Huge mistakes. And you have to be able to deal with those mistakes. You can't commit Python-icide, and Python-icide is climbing up on your desk with your Python book and jumping off. You can't commit Python-icide because you've made a mistake. You have to be able to recover from that mistake. Thus, the way I do things. So let's go back to this a little bit, and you can see that we printed the list out. All right. I know what my list looks like. Let's as an example, let's go out to the Utilities folder. And let's just do away with the carriage return line feed. I hate that. Let's do away with the carriage return line feed. This line right here. Let's just comment this line out, and you will see the difference. See that? It comes out with a space between them. That's caused by the carriage return line feed. So that means unless you're willing to put up with the carriage return line feed and handle it in some other fashion, you remove the carriage return line feed. I prefer to remove the carriage return line feed and handle it in some other fashion. So let's close this because you've seen this before. Let's kill it. And let's get rid of this. So that's my carriage return line feed, or why I put that in there. Now, we're going to have a record list. We're going to say record. L equals, I don't know why, it just seems like that's a good thing to do. And then for every I in the list, I'm going to create a record. Equal I split. Now, I'm going to split, S-P-L-I-T. I'm going to use the comma as a splitter, or as a delimiter for my split. And that'll split my file, and it'll make it into a record list, where record becomes a list. And I'll show you that in just a minute. We'll start by just saying split, all right, for I, or for K, in record, print K, print type record. And then I'm going to just toss in an input statement to stop it. I'm not going to put any value in my input statement. I'm just going to stop it at that particular point after I print out one record. After I print out one record, I might print out 2 or 3 records just to make sure that it's splitting everything up into a list, and I can manage that list. Okay? So let's run this real quick. Let's save it. Year ID. Ooh. Come on. I made a mistake. My mistake is on where my print is. So let's get out of there. I would end up walking through everything. I don't want to walk through everything. That's particularly bad. But it provides me with the information I want. I just made a mistake in my indentations. We talk a little bit about that in the reading this week. So let's pop it out so that it comes down and it changes its scope from being under the print statement to where its scope is. It's under the 4K statement to where it's under the 4 list statement. And let's run it. Jeez. I wonder why that comes up over there all the time. I have to reorder that. If you take a look at this, these are the headers associated with the Excel file. Right here. These are the headers associated with the Excel file. If you remember looking at the Excel file, it came in and it had a row of headers on it. We can look at it real quick. Those directly translate into it. We took the first row and we directly translated into it. So it works in that respect. Let's see. Let's open Teams up again. Voila. Your headers here show that your file has been split on the comma. Now this might cause a problem if you've got a dozen commas in between the fields in here, if it's B, comma, N, comma, A, but it can't be that way in a comma delimited file, so we don't have that to worry about. If it were that way in a comma delimited file, Excel wouldn't know what to do with it. But if you take a look, there's your header, there's your team ID, oh, right there's your team ID, there's your league ID, your franchise, your division, your ranking, and so on and so forth. And it goes all the way across, so you don't have any issues with that. Now, that's fine. You love that. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we take that out, we kill it. I don't care to run it again. And then I say something novel, like after I split it, I pull this code out because I'm not going to need this code again. And I say record list append record append record. And I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to print out I'm going to print out record list 0. Aha! List object is not callable. Now, the reason the list object is not callable is because it's callable. I put the wrong parentheses in. Wrong. I should have used brackets and not parentheses. Sometimes I screw that up. And the reason I screw it up is because I screw it up. It's not that uncommon a thing. You turn around, you think about it for a minute, and bingo, bango, and beads, there it is. It's now callable. So I now know what record 1 is, and so on and so forth. Now, traditionally, the way I've always accessed my list in a record like that is I will assign it back to a record one at a time and then extract my information. That's not necessarily the best way or the most Pythonic, but it's a way that works for me, and it works every time. So by that, I'm saying I would do something like this. When I go to access the information, I would simply say, let's get out of this. I've got my append, I've got my print. Dog. I'm going to use dog right now just because that's what's come to my head. Equals record. Now, I'm not sure exactly how many records there are in this list, but let's see if there's 1,200. And then I'll print dog. The reason I don't know how many records there are in this list is I haven't actually counted them. Invalid syntax. Aha! Get banged by that all the time. Let's run it. And there is record 0, which is the headers, and this is what's in dog. On the next video, we're going to try and do something a little bit different. I'm going to show you maybe something a little different, so we'll go from there.